Now I know what Jason Goodman's up to. Now I know what Jordan Sather's up to. Now I know what those other members of the Hydra are up to. The ones that push the pizza stuff with no evidence. They won't accept evidence that debunks their stuff because they believe themselves they get to make the law, the rules, what's real, what's fact. They have their own judges in their own heads. They push this. It leads to this very quickly. The Constitution of the ITNJ is a living document, and amendments will be considered by the Board of Trustees. Who's the Board of Trustees? Oh, wait, Jordan Sather's boss. The other guys that I mentioned. Okay, weird. The ones that are flown out and paid for. Because it's like, if they want to make up this fake shit and live in this crazy alternate reality and denounce, the United States Constitution, they need to say this shit on their channel. Because they're saying that they're patriots. I don't think they get what patriot means. Maybe they should be saying that they're patriots to this Constitution. There it is, the Constitution in English and the Constitution in Spanish. The treaty and Constitution of the International Tribunal were signed and sealed into law in a formal ceremony. Witnessed by these people? What's all those red dots? Oh, that's their fingerprints. Got it. Okay. All right. Well, what does the Constitution say? So I'm not making it up. Let this message go forth from this time and place to all the people of the world that to right the wrongs done to them in vindication of their rights and enforcement of just causes, to hold accountable those responsible for the breaches of human rights. Now I understand where the sealed indictments are coming from. Now I understand why they get to say who goes to Gitmo and other places. Now I understand why Titus Frost and all these other guys say who's guilty and who's not based off of no evidence. Now I get it. This is how they think. I used to look at at least him and the people in the United States as people that lived under those constitutional laws and the laws of that place. But now I know why they act like they do, because this is their Constitution. It says it's established by a treaty, letters and patents and proclamation, and function in accordance with this Constitution. The tribunal covenants. A lot of people think that they're Satanists after seeing this Constitution. You got to make up your own mind. The tribunal covenants with people in and of the world to look at the individual facts of each case separately from any other, but they don't use facts. I've already proven that to you a million times over. With the aim of keeping the legal and judicial aspect. Man, what if you guys found out I made a Constitution and expected you to sign it? Those guys would have a field day with my ass. And here's where the real truth starts to come out. Remember when I was showing you April Lejeune? You know how she's kind of like immediately put down as a crazy person? Right. Well, the ITNJ seeks to fulfill its mandate by free and sovereign peoples of the world by focusing its attention on naming and shaming individuals. Now do you see how all the conspiracy theories that aren't the normal ones that we used to look into, that come out of politics, come out of sovereignty, come out of changing whether you're on this side or that side, seek to change who you vote for? Now do you see why they all connect together? They want you to believe in these different sovereign rules and rights that are not represented in the law, and then they want to hit you with other conspiracy that makes you think this other stuff that with politics, so they can lead you to the corral of signing you away from your country or wherever you are into their Constitution, which is a one world open border system. I literally just showed it to you. The covenant of the International Tribunal for Natural Justice, right in front of your eyes. Okay, and by the way, I'm not stupid. I know that this is just LARPy bullshit, but they act like they believe it. They say they believe in what they do, right? So, hey, I'll give it to them. All right. It has the discretion to exercise its international and worldwide function in any location, anywhere in the world. It sounds pretty one world to me, right? The tribunal shall not be restricted from determining any issues or sitting in any particular location. How can you say, like, they think they're so whatever, that they can go anywhere? That another person's rights, another person's property is not valid. That's what this is saying, literally, right to you. I'm not adding shit to it. Read it. It's there. You can read it yourself. It's right on my screen. The tribunal in all hearings and determination and judgments is to act of the people for the people of the world in accordance with its mission, commitment, and covenant to ensure justice for all people. How do you do that without evidence and without a court system and without being able for a person to defend themselves? Now I get it. This whole time, it's been baffling to me that these guys do not fight for due process and pretend to fight for free speech. You've heard them say it constantly. They believe in free speech, right? And I'm always scratching my head, but you don't believe in due process because you want people to go to Gitmo with no trial. You want military tribunal. That's the core foundation to the pizza, to the Q, to all this other crazy political stuff that's come out. Well, now you know why. They don't believe anyone else has rights that's not forsaken by their Constitution. They think they can go to any private place owned by anyone and literally set up shop and do what they want. This is why they don't believe in due process. They also don't believe in any type of border. They think it's bad while preaching about the wall. I don't even think they really believe in the wall. The tribunal, and I'm not saying anything about my beliefs, by the way. I'm criticizing them. If you want to talk to me, email me. treaty pursuant to supporting the realization of a world in grace in which mankind shall enjoy peace, prosperity, harmony, abundance, and freedom in all of its forms. Well, see, that's the problem, ITNJ. When you don't have law and justice, other people take advantage of other people. They take advantage of their rights, their property, them living the life they want to live. They try to tell them they should live a different constitution and a different life and a different right. And then, you know what's weird to me? You know that I've made a lot of criticisms to these guys that are trying to destroy our constitution. Well, now I know why. I don't mind if you don't think that they're trying to destroy our Constitution because they have their own. But I think they're trying to destroy our Constitution because they have their own. They are trying to from the inside out. That's why they can't stand to criticism that I've given them on this. So anyway, let's go down and look at the qualifications for office. This is what you got to have in order to judge somebody guilty or innocent in the worst crimes. The lightest crime or the worst crime, according to them. All judges shall hold appropriate legal qualifications for the performance of their function and shall be of the highest integrity and professional and reputational standards as befits the office. Appropriate legal qualification is defined as qualifications recognized by nations and the international community as well as institutions of legal learning. Article 5, incompatible activities and measures against corruption. No member of the tribunal may exercise any political or related administrative function or associate activity with the ability and interest in any matter brought before the tribunal. It doesn't even make sense. Oh, jurisdiction. The jurisdiction of the tribunal comprises all disputes where people or persons have suffered deprivation of their human rights. Hey, tell me this, Tribunal of Justice, Robert David Steele and Justin Deschamps and Jordan Sather and all you pizza guys and Q guys out there, what gives you this kind of right to be the emperor of the world, to be the one that decides everything with no fact, no type of training, no proven history of any type of legal understanding to judge these things? What gives you that right? It doesn't say in this Constitution. I've been looking. Evidence may be given by... Okay, here we go. So part of their whole scam is trying to convince you and I and everyone else that you should believe everything somebody says if they're accusing somebody, but you shouldn't believe someone if they say, I'm innocent. And the other part of their scam is to deny due process and use Gitmo and tribunals and other things to dole out justice to people that they say are evil and guilty. You've heard it from Titus, from Jordan, from all the Q guys and the pizza guys. You've seen them stand in front of the Washington, D.C. courthouse and scream that people are guilty, regardless of wanting a trial or the ability to prove it. So that's why those behaviors happened. That's why we did live streams criticizing them for those ironic and hypocritical behaviors while they're trying to push that they are, they want rights and they want to follow the law while obviously trying to circumvent it. Evidence may be given by a personal viva voce evidence on oath or affidavit or where there are special circumstances in such other manner as presiding judge may deem appropriate. They are saying, oh, well, thank you to whoever just supported me on Patreon. That helps so much. Thank you. Right here under 1, it basically says, if you want to say somebody did something, according to Jordan Sather's Constitution and government, according to RDS's, according to all these you guys stuff, the pizza guy, now I'm not talking about the followers, by the way. I'm talking about the YouTubers. Their evidence, literal court, like factual evidence, is deemed by the judge. Your testimony does not have to have evidence proven by a lawyer to be real or fake in order to be admitted. It just has to have the word of RDS or whoever's sitting in the damn chair. Now does it make sense why they tell you who's telling the truth and who's not and why they act like they believe it so much? Because this is their Constitution. My Constitution says you don't just get to point at somebody and say, you're guilty, and then punish them. They have the opportunity, because they're free and they have rights, to defend themselves in a court of law. That's why I've stood against this shit for 1.5 years, because they spit that bullshit while pretending like they were patriotic. Scroll down. The ITNJ is founded on the principle of self-responsibility, so all evidence shall be considered as admissible. That means they don't believe somebody can lie and fabricate evidence. Literally. What kind of constitution is this? Tell me. This is my opinion. I'm giving my opinion. This is a constitution written for that whole Me Too type of ideology, where you don't have to, you can believe one party and not another. You don't look towards external things like evidences and things like that to make a judgment. It's the type of constitution that supports social justice ideology. This is literally, by definition, social justice ideology. And those guys are the ones that push it and sign it. Applicable law. Oh, hold on, I didn't finish. Those who repeatedly abuse this right by filing frivolous or unnecessary evidence may have their case dismissed by the presiding judge according to recognized legal and equitable principles. So they don't only get to choose who's telling the truth just by the words coming out of their mouth, they get to choose who's not telling the truth just by the words coming out of their mouth. And that's why I think they target their political opponents constantly with their conspiracies. Liz Crokin, There you go. That's why she believes what she believes. I know it's frustrating when we're doing red pill to pay the bills and we're like, how do these guys believe this? They act like they're patriots. It's completely against the rights of that person to say what they said in their stream. Well, here you go, because when they say they believe in the Constitution, it's this. They've got their own. And it says, my other point, if you apply this Constitution to Jordan Sather streams, Liz Crokin streams, Praying Medic stream, all these people out there, Titus Frost, all these guys, David Seaman, if you apply this Constitution to it, it makes sense why they say what they say. They're literally not when they talk about the Constitution, they're not talking about the United States. That's why they don't care about due process. This one doesn't afford them due process. It only affords due process to the person that the judge thinks deserves it. The other person's just guilty. Just like their YouTube content, man. It's in paper right here. Amending the Constitution, I'm going to skip it. I mean, I could go through this whole damn thing and completely just rail it. Now, you're going to say to me, well, how do I know who's pushing this? If they're going to use breadcrumbs like crazy, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going to use some myself, okay? I think the people that helped spread RDS's message, whether they were being pushing the guy or not, I don't care. The people that just magically get interviews with the guy, magically agree with the guy, magically push the guy. I'm very now suspicious myself. I don't mind if you're suspicious or not. I'm telling you my feelings. There he is, sitting at the head of this Constitution, of this treaty, of all of this, right there also. Now, I'm not telling you this Constitution is legal or real or any type of valid thing. I'm showing you that this is the summation of their beliefs. They believe it so strongly that they ask for donations and signatures. Their shit all leads back to this. And one other part of this thing, when I saw Jordan Sather telling me Justin Deschamps a few weeks ago or a month ago when I showed you that thing about him where he was saying, yeah, Justin this and Justin that, I said to myself, you know what? There has to be something about this Justin Deschamps guy. There has to be. It just doesn't make sense. Like, this dude's the guy who paid for him to start his YouTube channel, who flew him to meet David Wilcock. And how did Justin Deschamps be able to instruct David Wilcock to take Sather under his wing? How did he get him into this group? And I'm going to tell you what I think. You've got to make up your own mind. I think that they're all pushing the same agenda. That's why all of their conspiracy goes to the same place. It doesn't lead to the United States Constitution or to any other country's Constitution. It leads to this made-up fake Constitution that just so happens to afford people like Corey Goode the ability to be deemed credible by a made-up judge. People like David Wilcock, people, the whistleblowers, and the people that they're claiming are evil. It just so happens to afford them the ability to be deemed evil without evidence. So they're like, we do have evidence. Unirock, what do you mean that you can debunk that? No, you can't, because I have evidence. And they're like, see, my evidence. And their evidence is just them talking. They don't show anything. That's because they think that this judge dude can give them the right to believe it's evidence. Literally. It's right in front of you. It's the excuse for it all. In a freaking Constitution. I didn't call it a Constitution. They did. You get me? I'm not just sitting here like making that shit up for them. They are the ones that said it. You are more than welcome to research every single thing you've seen on my screen. Pause it and just search it on YouTube and Google and it'll come right up. All of this is open source in front of your eyes. Why would they put something like this open source in front of your eyes? Because they need the donations. Now, you can also find some really good research that exposes the ITNJ. And let me show you a little bit of that because I could spend an entire show. I could make this a giant live stream going through all of this. It even like, I don't know, something about the symbology. Well, let me show you what people think about it. Oh, I could have went here and given you a bunch of stuff too. I mean, I could go on all freaking night, but I won't. I know I get a little bit, oh shit, there's all my stuff. So this connects to a lot more people than just the ones that we see on YouTube. And you can find this yourself really easily. You've got all these different things that try to convince people about science is bad, that, all these things are wrong. All the conspiracies that are in this realm of people, the ones that are kind of like forced and evidenceless and crazy as hell and you can never prove, yet you've got these specific people always claiming that it's real. It all complements each other. And in my opinion, it fosters people to think exactly as that Constitution is written. You tell me if I'm wrong. You go look it up and you tell me if I'm wrong. So let me grab this. Oh yeah, here's my links. The deeper you look, the deeper it goes. Now, some of you are going to say I'm being mean to Jordan. That's going to be the thing in my comments where people get a little bit mean. I'm being rude to Jordan. I'm being a mean guy to Jordan Sather. Well, like I've stated, and I hope you understand, he said it. I'm not a fool. I don't believe Justin Deschamps contacted Jordan Sather before he'd ever made a YouTube video in 2016 or 2015 or whatever year it was. I don't believe he contacted a guy who was working at a health food store and said, I'm going to spend all this money and introduce you to these guys. And I've already, if you've seen Red Pill to Pay the Bill, David Wilcock, you know that Wilcock's been stating the things he's been stating since 1998, and he's been collecting money for these things since 98. Personally, due to everything I've seen over the last year and a half, I can confidently tell you, I believe that David Wilcock combined with Fiona Barnett and RDS and Justin Deschamps and maybe a few people that are even more sinister in the background have created a conspiracy movement out of their heads. They have created it to complement the fears and the desires of the people that they know are in their audience. They have learned through social media, through analyzing social media, to be able to craft these things and use them to maximize donations, subscribers, and earning potential. But what's even worse is when you start seeing this Constitution, it's almost insane. If you go back over a year and a half of my content calling these people out, you see that I'm drawing the conclusions that they believe a Constitution like the one I just showed you. I'm saying, yeah, that's not American, that's this. You know, that's not fair to people. That's not respecting someone's rights. That is, you know, this is like open border, like no due process stuff. And every part of the Constitution that they've written, or that, you know, Deschamps and Wilcock and all these guys, Fiona Barnett and all of them combined into, have all that together. And they're supported by these crazy political members. If you go to the membership site, you can go and look at like the, if you go to the menu, it'll say like, get involved, and it's got all these things, contact us, and it shows the contribute to the commission, volunteers, sign the treaty. That's the thing they want the most. First, they want your thumbprint, social name, full legal name, full address, and full date of birth on a treaty with your thumbprint. Then they want you to sign that and what did they say? What was the verbiage? Commit or promise to use their Constitution. You've got, let's see, founding advocates, board of trustees and secretariat, tribunal judges. I mean, and all of them are these characters that we've been seeing represented over this last while, connected to these people. So this site helps kind of break apart the crazy claims of this thing that I've shown you. Let me show you what it is before we get out of here. Thanks for watching. Make sure you hit the subscribe. We're not done by a long shot. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, hook me up, and let me finish this out. This is the entity that I've talked about for a long time that is writing the thing that I call the Hydra.